You know what's crazy? People are always in my fucking business worried about what I'm doing. What Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane, I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I go on vacation, my fault.
You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. Either for you to go Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
Floyd Mayweather just sent some warning shots to Charleston White, advising him to back off of this Big Meech drama or face some real consequences. But Charleston isn't backing down, refusing to be bullied for speaking his mind. Charleston has been doing multiple interviews since he got out of jail, and in one of those interviews, he dropped his 2 cents about the Big Meech 50 Cent situation. Although Charleston admitted that there is no proof that Big Meech snitched on anybody, he also said that 50 Cent was right to crash out because Big Meech and his son betrayed him by linking up with his ops. However, one of the ops, aka Floyd Mayweather, was not a fan of Charleston's comments, and he's decided that if he ever runs into Charleston, it's on sight. So, is Floyd Mayweather really trying to help Big Meech and his family get back on their feet? Or is he in this just to mess with 50 Cent? Sit tight, because we're about to spill every bit of this tea.
This be a perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who you put on. That's little Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put little Meech on BMF without any acting skills.
Guys, the Big Meech drama is boiling over at this point, and it's taking almost everyone down with it. The latest people to get dragged into the drama are Floyd Mayweather and Charleston White, and trust me, it's as messy as they come. In a recent interview, Charleston weighed in on the ongoing beef between Big Meech, Lil Meech, and 50 Cent, and he dropped some pretty surprising bombshells. He started by talking about how he doesn't really believe 50 Cent's claims that Big Meech is a snitch because he hasn't seen any paperwork proving it. He criticized those who claimed that Big Meech used Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy and others, saying people need to do their research before making these claims.
When you do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. So if you go do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. That's why you hadn't seen no paperwork. It's all hearsay. Somebody saying he told, or somebody saying he used Tammy Cowens to set up Cuffy. Well, when you do your research and you look at the court documents that's on Big Meech, you see that Tammy Cowens took the stand and said that she did this on her own accord without Big Meech's knowledge.
Charleston then went on to take sides with 50 Cent and put Big Meech and his son on blast. He said he doesn't blame 50 for crashing out the way he did because 50 had Big Meech's back when nobody else did. Not even Rick Ross. 50 got Lil Meech cleaned up, sent him to acting school, which he paid for, and then put him in a series that put millions of dollars in his pockets. While Big Meech was in jail, 50 basically stepped up and became a father figure to Lil Meech. According to Charleston, anyone would be mad if they did what 50 did for someone, only for that person to go and link up with their enemies. He called Big Meech linking up with Rick Ross a slap in the face, saying he and his son deserve anything 50 throws at them as revenge.
I'm looking at it from 50 position. I go get your son. And at the time when I meet your son, he's not making the best decisions in life. You know, they say the was strung out on them perks, and they like to pop them perks. 50 take him somewhat, I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for. It was hard finding somebody to play the role of Big Meech, so we picked your son. 50, according to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the family's, you know, financial, over $5 million. He's helped them make. Nigga blew your son up, and we bring you back to life. Prior to the BMF series, Big Meech was buried alive. Wasn't nobody saying his name. Jeezy wasn't really shouting him out no more. He was buried alive. So 50 bring life back to him, put his son in a position, turn his son into a millionaire, and he actually turned out to be a pretty good actor. You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. For you to go fuck Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
If you guys recall, all of this started because Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross to get some cash to float him when he got out of jail. Mind you, none of this would have happened if Lil Meech hadn't squandered all the money 50 put in his pocket when they worked together. 50 Cent felt violated when he saw that Big Meech had gone behind his back to collaborate with Rick Ross, which led to 50 exposing Big Meech as a snitch. At the time, Lil Meech confronted 50 in the DMs, explaining that Big Meech what he did because he needed the money. He said, "They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram, and now you managing Skillababy when I brought him around you first, when you didn't even have a clue who he was. Now you mad at me when I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy. I've only showed you love and loyalty. I'm human. I go through my own ish, but I never switched up on you. F Ross, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet ish is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life." It looked like Lil Meech was trying to get back in 50's good graces, but 50 wasn't giving him any slack. Instead, he announced that he was canceling the BMF series, basically cutting off Lil Meech's money supply. This exchange left people with mixed reactions, because while some thought Lil Meech was right to apologize, others thought he should have stood up to 50 for disrespecting his father. Boozy had some very strong opinions about this.
You know, like, seemed like him and 50 got a, you know, because after that thing came out, how Meech was talking all, you know, like, no, all y'all, I'm with my dead nigga, but you know, I ain't like his response, you know, but it seemed like he got a genuine love for 50 Cent on him, and from when I was reading it, like, he seemed like he caught in the middle, but you know. Like yeah. he caught in the middle. That's what it seemed like from me reading it, but I'd have been like, you.
Right, because it's your father.
My daddy.
However, you can't deny that 50 cutting Lil Meech off will seriously affect his earnings, because 50 was the one who put him on. You would think that Big Meech and Lil Meech would at least try to get 50 to have a conversation with them about continuing the show, but that's not what they did. Instead, they drew the battle line by hanging out with more of 50's enemies, especially Lil Meech, who has been spotted chilling with Floyd Mayweather multiple times. Big Meech and Lil Meech have posted multiple photos of them hanging out with Floyd and Rick Ross in the last few weeks. Lil Meech even shared a bunch of photos with both men while they were kicking it up at the Lucky Strike bowling alley in Miami. He captioned the photo, "Real Power," which honestly sounded like a direct jab at 50. In another post, Lil Meech shared photos of himself, his father, and Floyd at an undisclosed location. More recently, he shared a video of him and Floyd having a good time sitting courtside at a Lakers game. With their ongoing beef with 50 Cent, there's no way you can convince anyone that they didn't intentionally do this to jab at 50. As you know, 50 Cent and Rick Ross have been sworn enemies for years. The beef started because Ross felt like 50 gave him a dirty look on stage when they performed together. From that point on, it was a full-on war between them. They dissed each other through their songs and interviews. 50 doesn't miss any chance to throw Ross back to his Officer Ricky days. He believes Ross is cosplaying the gangster life while actually being a correctional officer at heart. In a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood, he literally called Ross a fraud.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. You know, because
if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. You know, I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm going to do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath that's going to say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after, like, you know.
In another interview, 50 called Rick Ross irrelevant, saying he doesn't respect his career at all. As for Rick Ross, he also hates 50 and believes he's nothing but a big.
You took a picture with Rick Ross? You like a hoe, put your back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal. Get your money. You don't know these don't know you. And for anybody going against Ricky Rose, let me have this. I've been putting my foot up you for the last 15 years. Everything you touch crumble. Why you think Rose on top? We don't take this shit.
With them, you can sort of understand where the drama is coming from. However, with Floyd Mayweather, it's more surprising that they hate each other so much now because they used to be as tight as brothers in the past. Floyd and 50's beef is probably the messiest drama he has ever been involved in, which is saying a lot because 50 takes his feuds very seriously. Back in the day, 50 and Floyd went everywhere together. They even appeared on the cover of XXL together, proving they were loyal to each other. However, everything changed in 2012 when Floyd got convicted of DV and was sent to jail for a few months. While he was in jail, 50 stepped up and tried to manage Floyd's companies, TMT, the Money Team, Boxing Promotion, and Mayweather Promotion Company, because Floyd asked him to. However, 50 quickly discovered that the work was much more than he had bargained for. Because the businesses weren't registered, 50 had to start everything from scratch. After sinking $1 million of his money into fixing Floyd's mess, Floyd turned against him when he got out of jail. He refused to match 50's investment or pay back what he owed and started accusing 50 of trying to take over his company. While Floyd was running this smear campaign, 50 and others were busy doing a Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket camp, which was basically a fundraiser, like the one Rick Ross wanted to do for BigMeech.
As he was actually going in to jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather promotion.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather Confronts. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated, it's just
a name.
Yeah,
that comes out people's mouths.
Right. See, technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. You see what I'm saying? He fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like
every
the negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They built the whole show. So when he says helping with Mayweather promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to
get it together,
put it together for him. So I do TNT promotions. I get it all the way together. Sign the actual fighters. We had acquisition of Gamboa. It's like I had to negotiate a release. It was 1.2 million. Andre Durrell, IBF champion Billy Dip, WBA champion Celestino Palabero. So we brought them over. I brought him over while Floyd was incarcerated. Yeah. Then he comes home. There's the Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket campaign. It goes on where it's $300,000 chains being bought and buying new Lamborghini and all these new things, and I'm sitting there going, yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Cause you're already invested.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardlessly. Right. So I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Well, I gotta ask you for it.
Right.
And then when he...
Are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes,
when he finally does bring up the actual the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
And I'm looking at him and he looked in my face and he told me to do that.
Y'all already know 50 is big on loyalty, so he was not about to let Floyd get away with creating false narratives about him. However, when 50 finally responded, he ended up looking like the bad guy. Floyd doubled down on his stance, calling 50 a male boxing groupie with a failed music career. At first, they told the media that they had reconciled and were back to being friends. However, their relationship quickly went from bad to worse, with both throwing jabs at each other. Floyd would clown 50 for having a terrible relationship with his son, Marquise, while 50 would put Floyd on blast for sleeping with his best friend's woman.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, yeah, Nelly 50. I'm like, what did he say me for? Nelly your first baby mama, Melissa, then took your fiance. Say that.
At some point, 50 even accused Floyd of being involved in the tragic demise of Earl Hayes and his wife Jessica. 50 said, tell everybody while you was on FaceTime when he unalived Jessica and himself because he was confronting you about effing his wife. But just when it looked like 50 would back down, he went straight for the jugular. He challenged Floyd to read a page of Harry Potter, promising to donate $750,000 to any charity of his choice if he could go through with it.
This is a special ASLELS challenge for you, Floyd. If you could read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to.
Floyd clapped back by posting photos of checks totaling over $72 million, proving he didn't need to stoop to 50's level. Floyd could never really get rid of the illiterate man allegations. In response, Floyd challenged 50 to get in the ring and settle their beef the old-fashioned way. Although there were rumors the fight would be held in 2014, it never did. Fast forward to 2018. Floyd made another petty move by inviting Tierra Mari, who was suing 50 for revenge porn, to perform at his nightclub. This was the last straw for their friendship, and Floyd cemented their hate by dragging 50 in an open letter on IG. He called 50 a snitch, clowned him for having a failed music career, and called him a bitter and jealous individual who couldn't even have a decent relationship with his son. It was a full-on attack that completely ruined any scraps of brotherhood that were left between them. So you can understand why 50 felt so salty when Lil Meech and Big Meech popped out in photos with Floyd. Never one to let things slide, 50 immediately fired back with his own shots. In one post, he shared a video of Lil Meech talking to Rick Ross and joked that they were discussing plans for Ross to gift Big Meech chicken wings from his fast food franchise. 50 also took a shot at Lil Meech in one post where he compared Lil Meech's acting skills to that of Michael Rainey Jr., the star of 50's award-winning series Power Book II, Ghost. Michael had won an NAACP award for his performance, and 50 didn't waste the opportunity to take jabs at Lil Meech. 50 also shared this AI-edited video where he seemed to put Lil Meech on blast, saying he wanted to show Lil Meech the good life, but he was bent on following his dad's footsteps.
Something to think about the next time you're on stage waving signs, trying to be like the only daddy you got. I understand you want to keep his name alive, but youngin', I'm trying to save you from your demise. You said it yourself. My pops was a real... Youngin', that ain't no lie. He was in the business that the system perpetuates on the side to keep us in the condition where we ain't made to survive. But you think he a god? Well, let me ask you this. Would you kill a world and save yourself? Yeah, I ain't think that was wise. Something to think about the next time y'all thugging, drinking and drugging, hard liquor y'all full of killers. Remember, hold up, I tried to give you the large picture. Hold up, man. He gonna get this work. He gonna get this work. Hold up. Keep going, keep going. Hold on, man. He gonna get this work. I tried to give him the large picture. Yo, Pops wasn't no gangster.
On the surface, it seems weird that 50 is going after Lil Meech, who had nothing to do with his father's alleged snitching, with so much vim. However, 50 finally shared his side of the story when Boosie called him out for transferring aggression onto Lil Meech. He said, I did more for Meech than anyone in his life, Boozy. That's why he responded like that. If he gets locked up, I'm the first person he calls. Bailed him out every time. When I saw him laughing at his pop's post, I said, oh, he a snake too. He belong with him. In another post, 50 talked about how he got Lil Meech into rehab and gave him advice on how to manage his finances. He said, I thought about it. I think he was uncomfortable with me and Meech's relationship. I'm telling Meech I don't want him doing drugs. He telling him he used to do X. Like it's cool. I tell Meech, chill, stop spending all your money. He telling him how much money people don't know I had to send Meech to rehab. Russell Hornsby peeped he was high as F on set. He started throwing up at a weapons test. Then Ian told me the little ninja had whippets in his truck. I said, what the F is whippets? I look, it's the ish that be in baby guns. If someone has done this much for your family, the least you can do is not embarrass the person publicly by hanging out with their enemies and plastering the photos all over social media. This is why, according to Charleston White, Big Meech's biggest mistake was posting the video of him and Rick Ross on social media and then posting a video denying the snitch allegations.
Meech's biggest mistake was getting on camera with Rick Ross, running to the internet. Rick Ross was wrong for putting Big Meech out there knowing he doing bidding with 50. Rick Ross using Meech. Rick Ross using him, homie, knowing that there's a beef between me and this guy. So to do this video and then put it out there was a slap in the face to 50. And I done put everybody in position. Now, I'm with 50. While you were gone, Rick Ross didn't reach out to your son, try to put him in his position where he can make $5 million. Did nobody reach out to you? Rick Ross didn't give you no money off using your name, your likeness or whatever in that song. He didn't give you no kickbacks for that. So if he really fucking with you, he could have put the concert on without putting you in the mix. But they playing tit for tat. So 50 ain't wrong.
Even if there was a chance for 50 to let go of the Rick Ross thing and move forward with the series, Lil Meech and his daddy ruined everything by linking up with Floyd Mayweather. As for Floyd, it's clear he knows what's going on between Big Meech and 50 Cent. And he's just using the father and son as pawns in his drama with 50 Cent. But he's apparently so serious about getting back at 50 that he'll crush anyone that stands in his way, including Charleston White. Floyd is allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes to try and get Charleston arrested and sent back to jail, which is wild if true. But do you guys think Floyd will come through for Big Meech and his son? Or do you think this is all a ploy to get under 50's skin? Let's hear your thoughts down below and stick around for more videos like this.